Could it be? But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the command post. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your commander-in-chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. So, mini camps, rookie minis are underway. We are off and running, and I can't lie, I'm getting excited. I know this is not supposed to happen in May, but listening to them speak, and we heard from Jaden Daniels, Mikey Sane was still, Ben Sinnott, and also Luke McCaffrey. All of them sound like good dudes. All of them sound exactly like the kind of player that we were told they were going to draft, and the guys that are going to kind of set the foundation from this draft class. The only one we didn't hear from of that group that you would expect to hear from was Johnny Newton. Also, we didn't hear from Brandon Coleman, too. As a matter of fact, I didn't hear anything about Brandon Coleman today. But Newton is still recovering from that Jones fracture that kept him out of all of the off-season and post-season workouts during that draft process, which is why I think he fell out of the first round, to be honest with you. If he was able to work out, showcase his movements and skills, I think he would have gone in the first round like he should have. But again, their loss is our gain, and so looking forward to seeing what he can do on the field. But I know you've seen some of the clips from rookie minis. They were inside on Friday because of the rain and in the bubble and the energy that they were practicing with. The coaching staff, you could see that they're setting the tone, are the coaches, right? It starts with them in terms of what we're going to see out on the field and the energy that they're bringing. And we know that's one of Dan Quinn's signature calling cards, right? That's one of his signatures, rather, is energy. He's full of juice. They're bringing it as a staff, and that's infectious. It then spreads to the players, and then the product on the field is, I think, enriched because of that kind of behavior out on the practice field. So I love seeing that. You know, all the coaches were jumping up in the air, and the balls were flying, and the players were running back and forth, and it's just something that we just haven't seen here, right? We haven't seen this kind of activity. Obviously, there's a buzz and excitement that Jaden Daniels is here. A lot of the media members were showing how many cameras and different crews and news media outlets were there. That's not normal for rookie minis, right? You're generally not going to see that many press members in attendance, but this is a unique, off-season. It's a unique draft class, and it's a unique set of circumstances because it's all new, and you're bringing in the quarterback that you hope is going to be the guy that, changes the fortunes of this franchise. And so we've signed 4 of the rookies already. All of the day 3 guys have signed. So Jordan McGee, Dominic Hampton, and John Baptiste have all signed, right? So, and then Luke McCaffrey signed as well. So the final 4 draft picks have signed. Now we're just waiting on the top 5 guys to put ink to paper, and that will happen eventually. So the process has started. The energy is up. I keep telling y'all this, and you're going to hear this from me all summer long as we head towards training camp. This feels different because it is different. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I know there are going to be a lot of people that say, that's great, sounds good, love it, need to see it, right? Need to see results. And I get that too. But I'm just telling you, it is different this time around. And the product on the field is going to represent that. Now, I can't tell you that it's going to result in wins right away, but just the performance on the field, just the energy that they play with, just the grit and the determination, and the product, the overall product on the field is going to be better. It's not going to look like a team that's poorly coached, that is incapable of making adjustments. I think it's all going to look different. And the reason I think it's going to look different, wait for it, is because it is different. Now, I'm going to say this because I don't have anything to apologize for, okay? I don't have anything, not yet at least. Not yet at least. But one of the big, plays made at the first day of Rookie Minis, a one-handed catch by Rosemy Jack Saint. And, I was hypercritical of him. And what I found over the years is anytime I'm super hypercritical of a player, he usually comes in and plays really well. The last time I was super hypercritical of a player, like to the point where it was borderline disrespectful, it was Cam Curl in the 7th round. We all saw what he turned out to be for this football team. So we'll see if I put my foot in my mouth yet again. I hope I did. I've always told you this. Once you're a member of the family, I want success for you, because success for you means success for the team. Success for the team means success for us as fans. So I want to be wrong. When I say that I don't think a guy is very good, I want him to prove me wrong, because if he proves me wrong and ends up being good, it's good for the good of the group, which is good for us as fans. And I want to win. Okay? So let me be clear. I don't wish ill on anyone. I don't want to be right here. Prove me wrong. Make me offer up a double O. Okay? Force it. Force the issue. He's off to a good start. If you're going to make the team as an undrafted priority free agent, you got to make splash plays. You got to stand out. Now, it's all rookies here, right? Stands for one or two guys that were on the practice squad last year that they allowed to come in and work with the rookies. It's all rookies here. So, I mean, it's cool to do it now, and that's great. When all of the players are there and you're still making plays, that's when you really grab the attention of the coaches. It's cool to do it now when the rookies are there, right? Because it's just all rookies, okay? Do it when all of the players are there, and then we'll really have a discussion, right? Then we'll really have something to discuss. But look, make plays when plays are there to be made, and apparently he made a huge one-handed grab. Good for him. And we'll see if he ultimately is able to do enough come training camp into the preseason to make this roster. Again, we there's some roster flexibility at the back end of the receiver room, right? We don't know how many they're going to keep. The number that I keep circling around is 6. And if it is 6, only 4 guys to me feel like they have a reserved roster spot with their name on it already. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Luke McCaffrey, and De'Ami Brown. Some of you may not agree with De'Ami Brown. That's fine. But those 4 have their name kind of, a reserve spot in the receiver room already. Jamison Crowder feels like he has one as well because of his ability to return punts and maybe even kickoffs. I don't know if they'll put him back there on kickoffs or not, but his ability to return punts right now is what has him locked in. But I won't write him in marker. I'll write him in pencil for now. But if a guy like Kaz Allen steps up this year, shows that he can actually field punts, he's a much better kickoff return man than anybody else on the roster right now currently, and has experience at that and has been successful at that. And then if he can prove that he can also double as a return man in the punt game, he may be able to carve out a niche for himself. And if he can catch, and that was something he struggled with last year as well, not only struggled catching punts because that wasn't something he was accustomed to doing, but he also struggled catching the football. If he's cleaned up some of those things, maybe he could be the guy that pushes Jamison Crowder out of here. I know a lot of you are really fond of Crowder. You trust Crowder. That's all fine and dandy. But if they can upgrade the position, they're going to try and do it. I still think Crowder's going to be here when it's all said and done. And then that 6th spot, I think, is up for grabs. Olamide Zaccheaus, could be Rosemy Jack Saint. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not a believer. But I said this to somebody a week ago because somebody was, coming at me aggressively about, my rant about Rosemy Jack Saint. And I said, look, they was like, yeah, he didn't run a 4.81. He ran a 4.61 in his pro day. And I was like, okay, cool. That's still slow as hell, right? You're still running tight end speed, but whatever. I said at the end of the day, if he's Jarvis Landry, then he can make this football team. He can play in this league. Jarvis Landry was slow as molasses. But you know what else Jarvis Landry was? Jarvis Landry was tough as nails. He caught everything, and he was a physical. He was a man. He was a grown ass man. Was juice, right? And if Rosemy Jack Saint is that, then there's a spot here for him as well. If he's not that, then he's got to take his ball and go home. And so he's going to have to prove to me that he is that. But a good start for him. Good start for him. We'll see if he can keep it up. But I'm excited. Listen to all the guys talk. Obviously, Jaden Daniels was the main attraction, star of the show. He was the guy that everybody was really there to see. And he talked about Tress Way and how humbled he was by Tress giving him his number. And he talked about how thankful he was that he didn't have to do that, how Tress is a legend. Again, I just love how this kid does his homework, understanding that Tress is legendary around these parts. He has been one of the few bright spots in a very dark time here for Commanders fans. And so he is an all-pro player. He's a Pro Bowl player, right? He is a guy that has been one of the mainstays here, and Jaden acknowledged all of that. He talked about wanting to dive into this playbook, talked about the hands-on coaching from Cliff Kingsbury, talked about being around the guys and wanting to really integrate himself into the locker room. He's like, look, I'm 23. There's a lot of different age ranges in this locker room, and I'm going to try to find a way to relate to every single one that I can. And so you're already seeing him try to exhibit some of those leadership qualities. You love what you're hearing, what you're seeing, and you just want to see that continue to develop over time. And he's like, it's going to be some bumps in the road as a rookie, but I'm hoping to try to, do my best to offset as many of those bumps in the road as I can. So good to hear from Jaden. The kid has a great head on his shoulders, and it feels like he's going to come in here and command that locker room and immediately become a leader and a guy with a C on his chest, which is what you ultimately want your quarterback to be, is one of the true locker room leaders on the football team. Seems like Jaden Daniels is on a collision course to be exactly that. Ben Sinnott, was good to hear from him. He just sounds like a guy that's just full of love for the game, right? He just is a guy that seems like he's locked in. He's glad to be here. I didn't even realize he was a walk-on at K-State, so I did learn that today. So when you're a walk-on, you never lose that chip on your shoulder, right? So he had, a different journey than most. And so he talked about that, and he talked about just the hunger that he has, and talked about having, a relationship prior to being drafted here by Washington with Jaden Daniels and with the, oh my God, I don't know why I keep blanking on the Notre Dame quarterback. I don't know why I keep doing that. I can see his face. I can't remember his name, but he talked about working out with both of those guys in Orange County in the offseason as they were preparing for the draft. So it's kind of good that he was able to, already have a relationship with them. So he talked about that and said, he's just ready to get to work. Luke McCaffrey, he's a guy that you can also tell just loves ball. He's like, I just love being in this team environment, ready to get to work. And, one of the things that we didn't talk about enough that I think is worth mentioning, that I think is going to help him. A lot of people are kind of just dismissing him a bit because of the namesake, and some people are just dismissing him. Oh, he's not this, he's not that. What he is a former quarterback. And to me, former quarterbacks are invaluable as receivers because they see the field different. It's sort of like Julian Edelman. He was a former quarterback turned wide receiver, and you saw how that kind of worked out for him. I'm not telling you that Luke McCaffrey is the second coming of Julian Edelman, but what I am telling you is playing the position does help you kind of understand what that quarterback's thinking. It helps you understand zone coverages better, where to sit down, what's a good target for your quarterback, because you see it from both sides, right? You understand, what's best for the quarterback, like what makes it an easier throw, what makes this target easier for the quarterback, because you played the position and you understand that. And then as a receiver, you understand how to, manipulate, coverages, how to play with the leverage that you need to make it easier on your quarterback. So I think that's a distinct advantage that Luke McCaffrey has. He talked about that. He just talked about wanting to be a part of the group and a part of the guys, and how excited he is to get started on his journey here. And I think he's also another guy that's going to come in here with a chip on his shoulder because, as much as he wants to get away from his dad and his brother, it's going to be tough till he carves out his own niche in this league. He's going to always have to answer questions surrounding his brother and his dad. Like the first question, did your father and your brother help prepare you for this? And he's like, yeah, they did, but at the end of the day, you still have to go through everything yourself and yada, yada, yada. So I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder as well. And then Mikey Sane was like, look, man, I'm just out here to compete. You heard the word compete from that man at least 5 or 6 times. So he tells you where his head is and where his mindset is. He's like, I'm out here to compete. I'm ready to come in here and get to work. I'm excited about this opportunity. And he even threw in, like, he's well schooled. You can tell. He even threw in the raise hell, right? Like, damn, you ain't been here 2 seconds and you already, that's like a dope rapper on a feature, and at the end of his 16 bars, he drops in the name of the song, right? He finishes his verse with the name of the song, right? Like, that's an experienced rapper rapping on a feature. I'm like, damn, you just got here, and in your second answer, you talking about you integrating and weaving it in seamlessly, raise hell. I said, and they just started this, bro. That ain't like HTTR was for years. We just started that hashtag, and you on it like that. So that tells me Mikey's locked in, bro. So this is a really good group of rookies thus far. I'm fascinated with and to me, this is one of those groups that I'm really going to attach myself to. I can feel it right now because they're the first. They're the foundational group. If this thing is to turn around quickly and to be sustainable, something that hasn't happened here and has eluded us, it's going to be because of this first group, this first draft class. So, guys like Mikey Sane was still, guys like Luke McCaffrey, guys like Ben Sinnott, hopefully Brandon Coleman and Johnny Newton and Jordan McGee and all of these guys, Dominique Hampton, Javante, John Baptiste, and especially, most importantly, Jaden Daniels. We'll see if that ultimately happens. But I'm excited, man. The energy, the juice that's at Rookie Minis right now, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Anyway, leave it down in the comment section. Are you getting fired up a little bit? I know. I need to turn this shit down. It's at like an 8 for me right now. I need to turn it down to like a 4. I'm tripping, I know. But I can't help myself. Anyway, I digress. Happy Mother's Day to everyone once again, who that applies to. Can't thank you guys enough for your contribution to mankind. I mean, without you, there's no us, right? Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We love you. We love you. We love you so much. With that said, you know what it is. Post up. Take command. For any Grizzlies fans out there, anybody just want to kick it with the kid, I will be live on Bleacher Report on Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. for the draft lottery. My Grizzlies sucked ass this year, so we're in the lottery trying to get as high a draft pick as we can in one of the worst NBA drafts in recent memory. We'll see where we end up. It's hard to get excited about a draft when there aren't a number of players that get you truly excited, but we'll see. I'm hoping to get as high as we can so we can trade it to somebody. Hopefully somebody sees a talent somewhere at the top of the draft that they want to get, and that pick can help us land a big or some kind of player that can help us next year try to chase a chip. But that's another story for another day. Sunday, 3 p.m. on Bleacher Report, I will be talking draft lottery for the Memphis Grizzlies if you are interested. In any event, I'll see you guys on the other side of the weekend. Enjoy the festivities. Enjoy Mother's Day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the weekend. And I'll see you on the other side. Until then, you guys have a good one. Take care.
LouieTeeNetwork.